Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for the unseen presence that we have as well. I've got something that Sian gave me last time, which are some of the feedbacks and comments from the people that tuned into the video, and they obviously need, they need to know other things and so on there. There are a few here that I would like to comment on, but I'll do that at the end, okay? So, okay. What would you like to hear first? Some more of my experiences?
Yes, please.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Please tell me, I know that I've already told you some of my experiences, but please tell me if you've already, heard them, okay? When I was about, 14 years of age here on this planet, okay, we lived out in the country, no doctors, no telephones, no electricity, and I came down with a very, very bad bout of tonsillitis. I could hardly breathe, couldn't swallow, really, really bad. And I thought to myself, now what? So all of a sudden, there was this voice came into my head, and it was speaking to me and said, why don't you just put your finger in there and just pull them out? I thought to myself, okay. Yes, put your finger in there and just, remove them. I said, how is that possible? He says, well, I'm telling you, just put your finger in there and remove them and it'll be okay. So I put my finger in there, I was half sort of choking, put my finger in there, got around there and just hooked out this great big ball of pus with tissue on one side. No pain. Looked at it and I said, wow, and all the other things. And then the voice said to me, okay, fine. He said, you did well. Now do it the other side. Pull that one out. Put my finger in there and I pulled that out. Did you know that there was no pain? A lot of tissues, a lot of congealed pus and everything because it was all swollen up. And a couple of days later, everything was just fine. And since then, would you believe I have not had a sore throat? I have no infection, and I went to the doctors many years later just for a checkup regarding, work. And he said, okay. He said, let me have a look at, he put those little timber paddles in there, and he said, say ah. I said, ah. He said, oh. He said, you had your tonsils out. I said, yep. He said, well, whoever did that did a damn good job. I said, right. So there you go. That's one of the things. Now, when I talk to you like this, my father told me that he's going to look after me while I'm here on this planet. So if there is anything that I need or is anything that I need to know, any help, just ask and you'll get it, okay? We'll help you. Right. So that was one thing. Okay, now I think I've told you about the tractor situation. Okay. When my earthly brother got killed when he was age 16 on a motorbike accident, he had it for about 3 weeks. He went down the road and along Wanneroo Road, a big truck came along from the markets where there's a lot of markets at that time, growing vegetables and so on. So he came from the markets, from town, and he cleaned him up. He threw him up over the poles, landed down there, and I was the first one on the scene, and I could actually see, his soul rise up from his body, and he was hovering over the. He was hovering over the over his mangled body, And he was just smiling. I was looking at him and I said, "What?" He says, "You're down here, you're up there smiling. What's going on?" He accompanied us all the way to Royal Perth Hospital. The ambulance wasn't in a hurry because he was already pronounced dead by the paramedics then. And I had to keep it together because the family just completely broke apart. And after the funeral and all that, their mum and dad were never the same. They lost their blue-eyed, blonde, beautiful boy, and it really took a toll on them. And then he appeared on me. There he was. He said, "Tell Mum and Dad I'm fine. I'm in a good place. Everything is going to be okay." So I gave that message to Mum and Dad, and they sort of broke down. Quite emotional, you know. And so that's the other thing that I was able to see: a soul leaving the body that we have, physical body. Years later, I was employed with a building company, building caravans, and oh, by the way, too, I must tell you, I pick things up very quickly, very easily, very quickly. Okay, structural engineering, thermal technology, building trade, various building trades, and so on there, because I like doing things with my hands. Within a few weeks, I'm performing things as well as somebody that has been doing it for 30, 40 years or so, with qualifications as long as your own. With me, no qualification. So we were working around there, and there was the guy there, an elderly guy I was working with, and he said, "Hey Mike, there's up at Exmouth Gulf, there's a communication station being built for the US Navy. How about if we go up there and, work as pipe fitters?" I said, "What? Pipe fitters?" I said, "Oh, you don't know anything about pipe and fittings. You don't even know anything about plumbing. Why would you want to go up there and do that?" "Oh, it's simple, just get a few elbows and T's, you screw them together and all that." And I said, "Oh, it sounds simple." I says, "No." At that time, we just got into a house, married, needing finances and things to sort of improve things. And I thought to myself, well, I heard that they paid a good weekly wage. And I said, oh, why not? So we put down an application. And I said, but I don't want to go up there as a pipe fitter because I don't know anything about it. I want to go up there as maybe a trades assistant. So he said, okay, put your application as a trades assistant. And I thought to myself, nothing is going to come of this. Well, I was wrong. 2 weeks later, there was a plane ticket in the mail. You had to report to the airport, fly up to Exmouth. We landed there. It was like I couldn't believe it, like the Wild West. There was all different types of people there, and rough and ready and gambling and fighting. And I thought to myself, what did I get myself into? Anyway, there was this mechanical superintendent, US Navy. Herman Trent was his name. Smoking a cigar. He said, okay, you guys, I'm going to call you forward, and when I call out your name, just step forward. It was like a military thing. And so he called the names forward. I was the last one in line. I was on number 14, okay? And he said, okay, he said, I'm going to start from here. I'm going to call you into my office, and I'll see how good you are. Read the drawings, blueprints, and so on. Because out of that, I want to pick somebody that I'm going to let them be in charge to carry out all these, things that need to be done. I thought to myself, okay. I was called, now as he called forward, he said, okay, you're all pipe fitters and mechanical fitters. Yeah. Number 14. What? I'm supposed to be a trades assistant. I don't know anything about these things. And I thought to myself, okay, there's only two things that can happen. I've got a job for 2 weeks, and then after that I'm on the plane out again. Or something else might happen and I might keep the job. Anyway, down to about the third last. And this guy in the workshops, he had a beautiful aura about him. Whether he was there only to help me or what, I don't know, but he was a really nice guy. And he came up to me one day and he said, listen, he said, I know all about you. And I said, what do you mean you know all about me? And I go away. Okay, he said, I can help you. I said, help me with what? He said, I can help you keep your job. I said, oh, he said, I'm doing things. Anyway, in the meantime, we were in the workshops doing all these, welding and cutting and things like that, which I had no problems with. And second day, before I was called up, he came up to me again and he said, he called me Mike. Everybody called me Mike in those days because they couldn't pronounce Metod. He said, look, Mike, he said, you only got one more day. I need to help you, keep your job and all that. Then I can teach you things, how to, keep your job. And I thought, okay, fine. So he actually taught me how to astral travel. Oh, really interesting. I said, what, so I can just sort of project myself out and I can go anywhere I want? He said, yep. I said, really? I said, how hard is that? I said, do you expect me to learn all this in one night? He says, yes, you can do it. I know you can. I know all about you. You can do it. I said, okay. So I went into my little concrete bedroom thing, laid down flat, went into meditation and started to relax my body. And then he said, after you do that, you completely, you just lift yourself out. And wow, it happened within about 5 minutes. I lifted myself out there and I was looking at myself, hovering above the bed, looking at myself laying down there. And I thought, wow! And as I got a shock, and it just zoomed right back in again, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. Okay, we'll try it again. Up it comes. So now this time I was more at ease with things. I was floating around. I went through the roof and everything, and I was looking out there. Now the walls were quite high, actually, high around about where the top window starts over there. So I said, oh, and then I was looking around. I saw 2 oranges, sort of, these buildings were just built. And they were already decaying and all that, going blue and everything like that. But you couldn't see them from where I was on the floor. I said, no. I looked around that, looked at the sky, looked over So I said, okay. I went back down again. This time was a little bit easier. It wasn't like, the landings are important. You just can't go boom because your body sort of jumps again. And I said, okay, wow. I thought to myself, this is incredible. Is this really true? So I got a box. So I stood up on that and I grabbed hold of the top and I pulled myself up because I knew that if any of this is true, those oranges are up there. I pulled myself up and there they were. Wow, oranges, this is right. I got a bit of a shock. I actually sort of, stumbled back down again. I thought, now what? Okay. So the rest of the night, I went back out again and I travelled to the planning room. They had all the blueprints and everything, huge things they were. And if you've ever seen blueprints to do with mechanical fitting and piping and things like that, it's just like dropping some chickens in some blue ink and then putting them down on some paper and all over the place, And I have no idea about all these things. But I didn't even have to actually take the blueprints out of the rack. I could actually see through the blueprints. And this person told me, he said, you know, you're going to learn 100-fold in just, you know, what you can see. He said, it's just going to come to you and you'll know everything about it. And I thought, wow, really? And I did. So I spent that night reading these blueprints. And I was quite comfortable with them. The next day, I'm the only one there. Herman Trent calls me and he said, okay, Hobick. He said, come. Okay. I said, here it comes now. All right, he said. He puts them on the table and he said, what's this? Oh, I said, oh, this is the blueprints for the high pressure, piping and all that there. He said, okay, and what's that over there? Oh, that's that section that belongs to this section over here, gate valves and so on. And I said, okay. Okay, what's this? Oh, they're the mechanical prints for that. He says, where all the machinery and everything, pumps and everything are going to go. And he said, okay, fine. He said, what's this? I said, oh, that's that section that belongs to that section. Well, that, okay. And sort of after about half a dozen pages of these blueprints, goes back and leans back in his chair. Well, he said, silly me. He said, I should have started with you first because I've wasted 13 days talking to all these drongos. He called them. He said they wouldn't have a clue. They call themselves mechanical fitters and pipe fitters. And he says, you know more about these things than any of these people put together. And I thought to myself, what the heck is he talking about? He said, okay. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, I'll put you in charge. And if there's any problems, you come to me and I'll sort it out for you. And so there I was, thrown off the deep end, so to speak. And that's where things really started to happen, really started to happen. I could read people's minds even before they said anything. I could see through steel pipes where the blockages were because they were actually tested, okay, for pressure. And if there was a pressure drop, there's obviously something wrong. I could walk along the pipes and they said, okay, cut it open here. Why would we want to do that? I said, because that's where the blockage is. He said, how on earth would you know that's where the blockage is? I said, that's where the blockage is. Cut it open, you'll see. They cut it open and there was the blockage, great big bunks of rocks and things like that stopped the flow of the gases and other things that were in the water and so on. And I said, who are you? How could you possibly? I said, I just know. And so I was sort of looked upon there as, don't approach this guy because he's dangerous. He can read our minds. He can see through pipes. He can actually weld without a helmet. I can weld, even today, for years I've been doing it. I've been issued so many safety regulation tickets that I'm not supposed to pick. I can't wear a helmet. I can actually see the light from a welding rod, which is brighter, nearly as bright as the sun. Basically, if anybody today did it, you'd be blind in about 15, 20 seconds. I can actually look at the flame, okay, without anything, okay? I can look at the sun without, I can drive into the sun, it doesn't affect me anything. So I did all that there and I just could not understand all these things. Eventually, I didn't sack them, but Herman Trent did because they were playing up. So he sort of got rid of them on the next plane out. The guy that I came up with, he was so livid. He said, what? He said, you applied to be a trades assistant and here you are in charge of all the mechanical and pipe fitting sections. And he said, I can't believe that. So he gave me a hard time. So he got the marching orders and he's flown back to Perth. I stayed there for 15 months. Okay. When after the 15 months, when it was finished, I did all the piping in the whole complex. I did all the repiping in the Learmonth electricity section where all the power station was and all that. And after that, and he said, Mike, he said, I've got another project on in Hawaii. He said, how about you coming and joining me? You can have the job with me anywhere in the world for as long as you like. I'll get all the removals and everything done for you, family, housing, everything all done. He says, you can stick with me until I'm, until all these projects. I said, okay. I said, I'll go home and ask my wife about it. And guess what happened? Of course, I went home then. She got the big broom out and says, no way. I want to stay here. I said, okay, that's fine. But in the meantime, we lived in Karrinyup at the time there, and we had a really bad neighbour who was an alcoholic, really bad alcoholic, a very strong man. And while I was away, he broke into our house. My wife was there, and she said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh, I just come out. Thelma kicked me out." He said, "I'm drunk again." He said, "I just come over to see if I can have a cup of tea." She said, "No, it's late. Go home." And he pushed himself in and grabbed hold of her, and she fell back with him onto a couch, a little bit smaller than that one, like a two-seater. And we had polished floorboards, and it sort of skidded across there, and it hit the wall behind there, which was well, not painted, but it had wallpaper on it. And it actually broke a thing underneath that's, holding up the seat. And I saw all this because I travelled home every night. Astral travelled home every night while I was there. By the way, I astral travelled sitting on the wings of a big airliner, looking at all the people inside. I got bored, it was too slow, so I just ahead. I could visit cities right around the world. I could tell what the temperatures and weather was like and so on there. Wow, I had a really, really good time with this. Anyway, getting back to... So she wrote me a letter. She was sitting there, and I saw her writing me a letter because I asked, "Is everything okay at home?" And I wanted to see what sort of a response I get from her. "No, everything is okay, nothing's happening," and so on. And I thought to myself, she's writing all this, and I can see her writing all this, and the letter came. I don't even have to read the letter when I got it, because I already knew what was in there, and she was telling me fibs that everything was okay. Maybe because she didn't want to worry me. But hey, it was too late. I already saw that. So I asked Herman Trent, "Listen, I've got a bit of a problem at home. I need to go home and sort it out." "Take all the time you want, Mike. Family comes first." I said, "Great." Flew down, knocked on the door. I didn't tell her that I'm coming, actually. She got a surprise when I opened the door, and I said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Look," I said, "I know you've got problems with next door, and I really want to know what's happening, because you've been writing me letters and telling me fibs." I said, "Okay." She said, "So, let's sit down, let's talk about it." Sit down. I said, "Okay, tell me the story." She said, "There's nothing to tell." I said, "Okay, I'll tell you the story then." From the beginning, every bit of the situation that happened during that night, including the scorch marks on the floor, including the gouged wallpaper that was there, which she tried to fix and she tried to rub out, But, of course, she didn't know how to fix the broken bit underneath the couch. So I told her, I said, "Look at this, look at that." I said, "Now the couch," I said, "there's a broken rung over there." And then she looked at me and she went all white. She said, "Who are you? How do you know all these things? Who are you? Where are you from?" Well, I said, these are the things that I know, these are the things that I'm experiencing, and now, what do you have to say about it? Things were never the same after that. Okay, I had this power that was so overwhelming. I could walk down the street and I could just hear people talking and voices and all that there. I could walk down the street and, forgive me for saying this, I could actually undress a person and see what they're wearing underneath and things like that, and just see right through them. And I said, no, this is not right. You can't do these things, And that's when I came to a realization. He said, no, you cannot do this, Mike. You cannot do this. So I got down on my hands and knees and I just looked up to the heavens. I said, please take all these things away from me. It's causing a lot of problems. It's causing me a lot of stress now and everything like that. I did not come here to experience all this. The heavens opened up, went all white, and there they were again, standing in like a row, 6 or 7 of these, beautiful spiritual men with gowns on and all that. They're just the same as what they did when I was run over with the tractor. He said, but you can do so much good. Metod, you can do so much good by having these gifts. You can, and I don't want to say this, but he said, you can be like Christ. So much good. And I said, no, my Father didn't tell me that I came here to be like this. He just told me to come here, learn some lessons, observe, report back, be there for a certain period of time, and then you can come back home again. And I said, okay. I said, no, I can't. I really can't. It's affecting my marriage. It's affecting everything. I can't, I can't do this. After a while, they said, okay, fine. Yeah, your wish is granted. And I just collapsed on the floor as if a great big weight was taken off me. And I felt so light. Even those 3 days, I felt so light. And I thought to myself, wow, And then from then on, my wife was afraid of me in that sense, okay? So she tried to introduce me to Jehovah's Witnesses and all the other, religions and so on there. And hey, I was open to it, So I went and explored all the religions and Jehovah's Witnesses and so on there, and I sort of learnt things from the Bible and what they stood for and everything like that. And none of them were really, every one of them had a little bit of the truth, but not completely. But I did stay with Jehovah's Witnesses for quite some time because they were learning more about the Bible things and so on there, and talking to bishops and other religious organizations and so on there, Catholic, Protestants, Christadelphians, Mormons, you name them. Eventually, okay, I thought to myself, well, none of these religions are suited for me. I'll just do my own. I'll just do my own thing. I'll keep on meditating like I have done since I was little. I'll keep seeing auras like I have done since I was born. I'll, anything that comes up, if I'm sick or anything like that, I just ask for help, like my father told me that would, and it was done. And I thought to myself, wow, this is interesting. So, as far as work is concerned or employment is concerned, whatever I wanted to do, which was something that I wanted to do because it was like a hands-on thing. I was never any good for office stuff, which I didn't want to do. I didn't want to sort of go into those areas. I wanted to something practical. And so whatever I wanted to do, I just put in an application, told her the truth about the different things that I've done, and normally they would say, he hasn't got enough experience, forget about him, you know, we're not going to even put him on a short list. But I knew that as soon as I put that application in, I knew that I've got that job. When I went for an interview, talked to them about it, I went home one day and not my first wife, but my partner now, Renata, she said, she said, how did you go? I said, they'll be calling me at 5 o'clock and telling me that I can start in the morning. He said, oh, you must be joking. How could you possibly know those things? I said, I know. I said, okay. 5 o'clock, phone rings, Renata picks up the phone. She said, it's for you. Welcome aboard. When can you start? 7 o'clock in the morning. Is that okay with you? He said, yep, okay, thank you. I said, who was that? I said, I'm starting that work in the morning. And so now don't get me wrong either. These are not 6-monthly or 3-monthly employment stints. They last for 4 or 5 years or longer. Okay? So I must be doing something right in these particular areas simply because they kept me on for that long. Not only that, the companies are thriving. The company that I just mentioned there, they were in the red. 6 months later, they were in the black, going great guns. Okay, I was left to run the factory part. The boss went into the office and did all the quotes and things like that, and he came out and he says, what do you think, Mike? I said, listen, I said, if this is going to work, I said, you stick to your office, do your quotes and everything like that, leave me alone and I'll stick to the factory. I said, you want to get on your feet? I'll run this, you run that. So it was not like a boss-employee situation. It was like, hey, we're mates, you know. We've got to do this together. He said, okay. And so treated very well. That's it. Until such time as I retired. That was in, when I turned 65. I said, I've had enough of this. I might as well relax now. And since then, what Renata and I have been doing is helping out the elderly, doing, voluntary work here and there, and just minding our own business, so to speak, and helping out wherever we can, whether it be financially. We're not financially well off, we're just pensioners, but even financially, and just helping out gardening and other maintenance things and so on, because I can put my hand to anything, and I can just do these things, and they're very grateful. Just a hug and a cup of tea, that's it. And also helping people get better, get well, blessing them, sitting in shopping centres, sending out loving energies, and seeing the actual change come, and in peacefulness that surrounds you, because it was all hectic and loud and everything. And when I come now, I just sit down now and I just close my eyes and I just meditate, and all of a sudden everything seems to just sort of calm down. It's a more peaceful environment, which I wasn't able to do before, simply because I didn't want to be in big crowds. I don't like big crowds. I can feel their energies, their problems, their stresses, and I really don't want that. And it's sad. Sometimes sometimes I tear up, simply because people have so many problems. For what? And that was, and that was it. So up until this day, and from that, what I'm saying is that when I meditate and all that, I have all these things that come to me, messages and visions and things like that, telling me that these things are going to happen, this is happening, and so on there, and I'm receiving all those. But over the years, I know how to sort of ward them off so they don't affect me physically and stress in a stressful way. And then, of course, with the help of other people that are spiritual, I joined a spiritual group that was doing a lot of meditation and all that there, and that was a good help. But now I don't belong to any spiritual group. I just sit there and do my own thing. By the way, I'm in meditation 24/7. It's hard to believe, but I'm talking to you, but I'm somewhere else. Okay, so it's a funny feeling sometimes that it's like that, you know. And yeah, that's it. So, and then I then I come back, especially at night time when I'm meditating and I'm visiting home and getting messages to say that, remembering what my father told me, he said, look, all these things are going to happen, you know, there's going to be lots of turmoil, you know, lots of earth changes, lots of governmental changes, lots of, you know, lots of stresses and really, really very trying times. And I want to know about these things. So, and when Cian did the regression on me, he verified that. From now on to the next 3 years, and that'll be a conclusion. So the world will actually will separate into the fifth dimension, the new world, and there'll be the old world. And as that is happening, okay, the Earth is going to go through a lot of geographical changes, and you can see. I mean, I don't say go and look at all the news articles and things that you see on TV and all the images and all that there, but it's important to do that because to me it is, and it doesn't affect me, to see all these things are happening. So we have tremendous floods, we have earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, we have wars. Just on the east coast recently, there was tremendous floods there with such a great loss of, you know, infrastructure and you know, so not many deaths, which is good. And so people in various other cities in the world, they are demonstrating because they've been hard done by. They're demonstrating about all sorts of things because of the authorities and all that there. They're really not happy with the things the way they are and so on. And all of this was actually told to me by my father before I left Eros. He says, these are all the experiences that are going to happen while you're on Earth. And that's why I wanted to know. I said, I've been here for that long. He said, well, he said, between 70, 75 years of age, you know, 75 years of age, then you can come home. Well, I'm nearly 77 now and still doesn't happen. And that's why Cian kindly did a regression therapy on me, and my father confirmed that. He said, yep, not long now. Be patient. Practice patience. I've been practicing patience so many years. I'm trying to do the right thing. I want to go home. Yes, you will soon. Now, time is different up there than it is down here. So we have to bear with it. But the most important thing here now is where we are today. You know, thought is an element. We think, and it's an element, and it's very, very powerful. Okay, because with thought you can accomplish anything. With unconditional love, which is another element. Okay, just with thought, yep, it's great, but you need unconditional love to go with it as a catalyst to make things happen. So when I talk about thought, okay, and it's the most powerful thing in the universe, okay, And we're lucky enough to have it here. Each one of us are lucky enough to have it. The whole world's population is having it. And you can tell by the type of thoughts that are actually put out into the world of how all these energies are actually affecting the whole global situation that exists today. It changes the weather, it changes governments, it changes the perception of, how people see things, it changes everything. And it's to do mainly with negative thoughts, negative energy that's set out there. And so those of us now that are spiritually awakened, okay, it's our work, so to speak. It's our privilege, okay, to help. And the only way that we can do this is to slow down the situation that is going to take place very soon. In other words, so it has less effect on the earth. And while that is happening, there are more people, millions more people that are sitting on the fence at this stage that are going to come up and start to notice that there is more to life than just what they're going through at the moment. That there are that they have a suit on, but inside that suit they have a soul that came from the universe to start off with, just to experience this 3D existence. And it's all about learning lessons, and doing the best that they can. But because of all the dark energies that are around there, a lot of them are stuck. And so our work is to get them unstuck, so to speak. Okay. And the only way that we can do that, send out love. Love and forgiveness. It doesn't matter, you have enemies or people that you don't like and all that. It doesn't mean to say that you have to associate with them. But the energies that you expel out, those little bits of energy that are like little seeds, you sow these little seeds, and it makes them think a little bit. All the people that I've been connected with right throughout my life on this planet, okay, I sort of feel responsible for in some way. And all the people that you've been connected with, exactly the same thing. It doesn't matter whether you don't like them, it doesn't matter what they did to you or what you've done to them. I think it's all part and parcel of learning and loving and forgiving. And that's how you can get off this wheel of karma. Because if you don't do it this time, you'll just have to come back again and repeat it all over again. And for some, they've done it hundreds of times. For others, they've done it dozens of times. For someone else, they've done it a few times. For me, this is my third time. My first time was not on this planet. My second time was on 16th century in France. It was one of those sword-fighting highwayman things there, robbing the poor, giving to the rich, and looking after them. Looking after them. I had a liaison with this beautiful lady in those days then. She went out there to get some breakfast and didn't return for quite some time, and I thought something's wrong. So I sort of got dressed, went out there over the rooftops, and there she was, tied to a stake with timber up there, and they were just going to light the fire to burn her because she was doing herbal work, and it was witchcraft in those days, which was not tolerated by the authorities. So they burnt her at the stake. So I swooped down to go and release her and help her, but too many of them came at me, and eventually I was run through with a sword. And that was the end of me, and that was the end of the nice young lady. But that's all I can remember from that life. I cannot remember being born as a little baby, growing up, and then becoming a man, a young man, a highwayman, so to speak. There, I can only remember that part, and I was there to try and help, but I wasn't successful, so I lost my life there. My first was I was only little, and I got run through with a lance. Okay, but it was not on earth. It was looked similar to that, but there was, very, very early. People in those days were still hairy. Okay, and I was a hairy little boy. Okay. And so I had, and then this life, and I was wondering, okay, do I still have karma? Yes, of course, but nothing. I was told not to worry about my karma, okay, because it's neither here or there anymore. But now it's the time for me to, and thanks to Sian, for me to speak up and help those of you that are awakened, okay, or been awakened, and you can be a tremendous help. I would say to you, get together with some of your other friends that you have that are meditate. Group meditation is very good because it gives you extra strength and extra ability to be more, effective. But personally, yourself, meditate as often as you possibly can. I'm not saying don't eat meat or anything like that. Just be more vegetarian if you possibly can. Okay, because every time that we think of animals being killed and we partake of their flesh, it has stress energies in there. Okay, some people might say, well, that's ridiculous, but I love my big piece of steak or pork chop or whatever. But that's fine. They can do whatever they like. Free will. It's great. Be more environmentally friendly. Go out there, smell the flowers, talk to the trees and the plants. They'll listen to you. They'll actually tell you whether they're in the right place and if they're happy where they are. They will tell you, no, I'm not happy here, please shift me, put me somewhere else. They'll tell you whether they're thirsty. They'll tell you whether they need to be fed with fertilizer. All these things, you can feel them, that they'll communicate with you. Sometimes go out there and just hug a tree. You'll feel the energy from that tree. When you look at them from outside, the trees would actually bow towards you. If you're sensitive to that, they will actually bow towards you. It's interesting, when you get sensitive to that extent, your vibrations lift, and that's what we need. We need that vibrational lift in order for us to successfully transform into the fifth dimension, which is just ahead of us now. And I pray that and hope that all of you are going to be able to shift into the fifth dimension. That's entirely up to you. The changes that are taking place energy-wise, you can feel them sometimes. Sometimes it just goes through there and it just vibrates your body. Sometimes you get aches and pains in your joints. You think, well, am I coming down with something? Sometimes you feel nauseous, giddy, or, and might have a headache or things like that. And you feel, I've got to go to the doctors and see, maybe I'm coming down with something. Most of the time that's not true. But you go to the doctor and they'll put you on medication anyway, simply because that's what they do. Okay? Like I said to this lady, I go to the doctor and I ask them if they're feeling okay and bless them. I don't, you know, I don't go there for him to give me medicines and tell me what's wrong with me. I go there because my wife, my partner Renata, she goes there, she has osteoporosis and all that. But you see, there's the other thing too. You can try and help a person, but if they're not receptive, it's not going to work. Because they don't want it to work. You see, thought. The thought is so, thought. Our spaceships on Eros, any spaceships up there, those, the invisible audience that we have, they're spacecrafts, crystals and thoughts. That's it. When I was given the vision, when the change is going to happen, and there's so much turmoil that there, tens of thousands of ships are going to come down. Not that big, maybe about as big as the whole room here, maybe fitting about 50 or 60 people in there. And there's no cranking up the motor and putting gasoline in there to make it go and all that. No, there was just a central thing there where the crystals are, and there was just 4 or 5 of them standing together, meditating and all that there, and the spacecraft just like that. And within seconds, the portholes open up and you can see the Earth, even, further than the moon, for example, and the Earth is only about the size of the moon. So it's so, can you imagine that? You can travel and traverse the universes by just thought and crystals. And that's what we do on Eros. We travel to other galaxies and other planets, and we bring technology and help out with that. In return, we get minerals and other things, and especially the red marble, for example. Okay, because on Eros we have buildings with beautiful marble columns and things like that, but they're all domed. Okay, and I think I mentioned that to you before. Half of the time, the planet is shrouded in cloud, like mist. We don't have rain there. Everything is watered from the ground up. We don't have seas, but we have large lakes and rivers and waterfalls and all that. The mist clears after about half a day or so, goes away. Beautiful weather, around about what it is here today. And yes, we have protective shields. Universe is quite, it's not always peaceful. Okay, you have, different planetary systems and different cultures and different, ones that want to sort of come and take some of the minerals and want to invade and all that. So we have these invisible shields. But there's mechanics there, but they send up these invisible shields. And that's our protection. And I can remember one day being there, just before I came to Earth, that there was some raiders came from another galaxy, and they were and the shields were down. They actually, somebody there forgot to activate them, and they blew one of the complexes up. But that was soon put to repairs, and everything was okay. And by the way, there are universal laws that if you break them, you suffer the consequences. And it's the same with all of the laws that we have today. You make a decision on something, and there's no right and wrong. you make a decision, but with every decision, there's consequences. Okay, and that's how we learn. Okay, so these raiders were brought before the Galactic Council and Court, and they were ministered to and everything like that, and so they left. Because they broke the universal law, and that was it. So it happens all the time. There was one question that sort of came up from a video response from last time. He said, "We want to know what are there any wars on Eros and all that?" No, we don't have wars, but we do have infiltration sometimes with other groups in the galaxies and other parts of the universe that come and want to, raid or take minerals away without going through the proper channels, so to speak. But we don't have wars. No, fifth dimension is very light, pure white, very light. We can materialize anything that we want to. If we want to eat something, or we can go. We don't have cars or anything like that. We just move. We just transport ourselves with thought. Okay, on our ships we do exactly the same thing, of course, but we do have crystals in that to help harness the energies. We have star maps. Oh, by the way, yes, we do have a spaceport as well. There we have cadets, okay, that learn about stars and the universe and planetary maps, and so they're taught. Okay, as a matter of fact, I've been on one of those trips in the earlier years of being on Eros. And yes, it's like a university, so to speak. You learn all about the star maps and galaxies and planetary systems and so on, and how to manage and fly ships, and what our purpose is in helping other planetary systems and so on. And it's very interesting. I can remember we went to a place called Ram to collect some of the red marble, and it was a very early stages and all that. And we give them technology to enhance their living standards and their technological advancement that they need on a very small, slow basis, because you feed them too much, they can't handle it. And they were always amazed. Everything stopped at the quarries where they were as the ship came over. The hull opened up underneath there, and all these great big columns of red marble they were lifted, up into the ship, okay, and then stored into the various bays and all that there. And they were just marveling at, how can anybody possibly lift all these heavy weights by just thought, for them to sort of come up into that. But that's what you do. You can lift. You can do anything with thought. Thought is powerful, and and you can practice it. It's easy, really. It's easy to do this. It's easy to heal yourself. The only thing that you need is inside. Yes, I can do it. Don't have any doubts that you can't. And it has to be done with love. By all means, go and Go and see your doctors. Go and get medical treatment. I am not saying don't do that. Go and chemicalize yourself with all these pills and other things that they have around you and all that there. Do that, by all means, if that's what you want to do. But I am telling you, it is not necessary. People that are already awakened now, spiritually awakened, you don't need that anymore. Because in the new world, there won't be any of that. There won't. And the sooner you start to realize it now, while there is still a little bit of time, it's going to be much easier for you when the realization comes that you wake up in the morning, hey, I'm on 3D. I'm on fifth dimension now. I was on 3D, now I'm on fifth dimension. Something is different. Yes, it is going to be different. Oh, by the way, yes, a lot of the animals are going to go with us. That was one of the questions that somebody asked. We have similar animals, there's some exactly the same animals on Eros as what we have here on Earth. But we have other animals that are not of this Earth, that are from other parts of the universe and galaxies, that look very prehistoric. As a matter of fact, one of them is, they're really very, very lovely animals. They look like a giant, they have two great big, it's like one of those smaller dinosaurs. They have two larger legs, they have a tail, but their necks aren't that long, but they have like a half trunk of an elephant, beautiful big eyes, and we saddled them up just for an outing, for example, and we saddle them up and we actually ride those through the countryside and meadows if we wanted to, and they bless us with, with being submissive and everything like that. We have no animals there that actually hurt any of us. They're all happy. We can talk to them. We can play with them. We can take them for walks, or they can just sit there and be next to you, and every now and then they give you a growl, but that's nothing, that's their way of expressing themselves. Because half of the planet is in darkness, naturally, because it's similar to Earth, okay? We have 120 people in government, if you like to call it that, and they all have different provinces or different states to look after, because Eros is 3 times larger than this planet Earth. Okay, it has far more land masses than here. Our population is over 2.5 billion people. Okay, all advanced in the 6th dimension. But there are problems that need to be taken care of every now and then. So when the Galactic Council meeting is called, they are in little alcoves right around the walls, and when the member of that particular state or province comes, it lights up. It doesn't light up because there's a switch there. It lights up because of their, of their auras, which light up. Their auras light up, and so they know that they're there. And anybody that's missing, there is no light in there, but they communicate through holographic images. So my father sits there, and if somebody is missing, the holographic image comes up there, and I explain why they're not able to attend because of certain reasons and all that there. But they are all part of whatever discussions and things that take place, and that's how that works. Okay, nobody is. Nobody has to want anything. Everybody is taken care of. There is no difference between one another just because you're in charge or or looking after a certain section of the planet doesn't make you any greater than the other person that isn't. Everybody is equal. It's just that the responsibility is one that they volunteered to do, and they're not paid anything, not like our politicians are, okay? And everything is done in harmony. Everything is worked out to the last detail of what happens, and everybody is happy. There is no people there that are suffering with no place to go. Everybody is fed, everybody has a roof over there, everybody is happy. There is no such thing as haves and have-nots. Everybody is. And whatever you want, you just ask for it, and it just materializes for you. And you can share these things. If you want to know something about something, you talk to them about it and share that there, and in return they will give you something that you want to know. I know it seems a little bit unrealistic to you when I talk like this, but that's how it works up there, It's compared to what happens down here, well, it's chaos at the moment, isn't it? Absolute chaos. So, and the way things are going, my father always told me it happens in trimesters. Each trimester is 4 months for the year, okay? We are in the first trimester of this year, which is another 3 weeks to go or so, okay? And when I look back from the beginning of the trimester in December, beginning January, right? All the events that have actually happened, okay, have been compounded by the previous end of that last trimester from the previous year. And so we are at the end of this trimester now, and all the things that have happened just lately, and you can sort of think back of all the things that happened. At the end of this month, okay, the beginning of the second trimester, okay, you can, look, take a note, put it down there, watch the news and read the papers or anything like that, if that's what you want to do, and you can see that it's actually a build-up even more than what this trimester is going to do. Now, we've still got 3 weeks, 3 weeks to go, and God knows what is going to happen with the latest thing that, that President Trump wanted to go and do, and send rockets in there to go and destroy. So there's decisions that are made by the government authorities in different ways that really affect the people of this planet. And then you'll see from then on it's actually going to ramp up again, leaving where that left off. It doesn't go back down again. It starts off from where that leaves, and it ramps up again the second trimester. So you can imagine, if it continues the way that it is, how many trimesters do you think that we still need before everything collapses? Not many. Like my father said, between now and the 3 years, and that's it. So, where's your real estate? Where is your job? Where is your superannuation? Where is your your salaries? Where are all these things? Why are people killing themselves, wanting to keep being up with the Joneses, so to speak, okay, to have all these things? Because the situation at the end is not going to matter. People are going to be throwing their gold and their monies into the streets to get help, but no one's going to be interested in that, simply because it's finished. So, spirituality, vibrations have to increase, okay, to take us to the fifth dimension. When I say that, okay, that doesn't mean to say, I'm going to panic now and see if I can sort of do that. No, look, you're already there. All of you. All of you are already there. You don't have anything to worry about. Okay? You are all going to the fifth dimension. Simple. Okay? But what can we do to help others get there? That's the whole thing now. Okay? 2/3 of the world's population is going to go. 1/3. But when I say 1/3, that means different planes of existence, different areas. Okay? And we're here to help. Okay? And the only way that we can do that, show love to one another. Send out love. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself for doing the wrong things to another person. Forgive them for doing the wrong things to you and other people. All that. It works both ways. And like I said before, if it's too much for you to put up with somebody that, that you feel that you're banging your head up against the brick wall, hey, don't do that. Just love and forgiveness. You do your thing, and I'll do mine. Walk away. Don't have to be a martyr, so to speak. Don't get caught up in the karmic situation. Even if it's your own family. Teenagers these days, I don't have to go into that, but it's a really, really sad thing. You can see what they're actually doing, and where do they get this from? Well, part of it is, yes, okay, parents are busy making a living, putting food on the table, doing all this thing there. But hey, our offspring are out there wreaking havoc in the neighbourhood, getting drunk, throwing bottles, getting into problems and all that there. Okay, partly, yes, it is the parents' responsibility, but they're old enough to know better too. So it's their journey. So if you think that you're going to go into the fifth dimension and going to the new world, and you think that you're going to bring all your pets and all your children with you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say. It's sad, but that's the truth. Unless they have that same vibrational energy that needs to be there to get to that new world, it won't happen for them. But you see, that's their journey. They live forever anyway, because your true life is lived in the spirit. Then you come here, they pick us as parents. They want to be born into that there because they want to experience all these things, and that's fine. When they're small, you can teach them all about love and forgiveness and everything like that. When they get a little bit older, they get a mind of their own. They say, Mum and Dad are wrong about these things. I know what I'm doing because my mates told me about this and that and so on there. We know better than you. You're behind with the times. Okay, fine. That means that, hey, they don't want to listen. But that doesn't mean to say that you have to give up on them. That means to say that you need to send out this loving energy. Okay? Send out this love and forgiveness, because these little energy seeds, and when they see this, hopefully they're going to wake up and say, well, yep, Mum and Dad are right, I've got to change my ways. And I'm not saying they're all bad. They're all good. There is no such thing as a wrong thing and a right thing. But there are consequences, and these are the consequences. Okay, we're going to take a break now. I want to go and show you something outside. I want you all to have a look at the sky, and I want you to tell me what you can see. I'm not just talking about the blue. We know that the sky is blue, and the reason why it's blue, but I want to see if you can see anything else in the sky. Okay? So can we adjourn for a little while then? All right, so we've seen some micro-zimmers. The sky is not all that it appears to be, as we've just seen. We've seen all these energies floating around like little tadpoles out there, and that's because we concentrated on looking for that, which shows you that if your concentration is there, and you can see things. Okay, we've already seen too with the plants. They all have auras about them, and if you look carefully, you can actually zoom in and see the structure of the plant that you're looking at. And if you cut it, it actually weeps, because what you've done is you've severed the limb, so to speak. Okay. All right. Now, what was it? Where's that lady? What was it you said about the dimension again before? I lost my train of thought.
I was talking about, could you see spaceships?
Yes. Okay. Right. Yes. Sometimes I do. Okay. And it's only there to let me know that they're actually there. Okay, it's just like when I saw, when everything went white and I saw the figures appear. It's basically the same thing. They appeared to me. In other words, they were allowing me to see in the three-dimensional, see what they look like. And it's the same with spaceships. The first time I saw a spaceship was a huge one. That was when I went to Exmouth Gulf. Okay. It was a huge mothership that sort of passed overhead, beautiful. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And then the last time I saw one is quite a few months back, just on the corner of my eye, driving along there, and I saw a disc, going through there, and then just for a little while, just 3-5 seconds or so, and then it just sort of disappeared again. Now, a lot of things have been happening over the years, and some of the things that actually happen. I'm driving along on the road, okay, and I consider myself a good driver because I like driving, and I look at the rear vision mirror, and it's a long straight road. There is no turn-offs anywhere, and all of a sudden, I look in the rear vision mirror, and there's a car behind me. I thought, oh, where did that come from? And there's usually two bodies sitting in the car, one driving, one next to another. That. Then I thought, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So they're following me, And when we get to a stretch where there is no, turn-offs anywhere, and Nangara Road, where I live out in the Swan Valley and all that, or longer drives and all that there, all of a sudden, and I thought, oh, okay, how far behind me? And I'm aware of what's happening around me, and I look in the rear vision mirror, and I see it there, and then the next second, I look, and there's nothing there. Disappears. Yeah. Hello, what's happening, So the only conclusion that I can come with that is that they're actually looking after me, making sure that I'm going to get from there to wherever I'm going, okay? And that happened quite a lot, okay? It's as if they're following me, making sure that I'm getting to the, to the destination that I'm supposed to go.
The question?
Yes?
In your regression, the last time in October, you asked for your healing gifts to be returned to you.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering
No, not fully yet, but I can tell you one thing, that they are in progress now. Okay, and the only thing that I can say that is because whenever I, this is personally, whenever I have something that is, aching or something's wrong with me, or maybe I can, trip over, and I have a bruise, or it sort of, the next day it's basically gone. Okay, and these are the, because I say to myself, I have these gifts, I might as well use them, and can I please have these gifts back? And they allow me to have these gifts back. Also, other people too. My elderly sister actually fell a couple of weeks back, and she had her face on the pavement, and from the nose right down there, completely black and blue, Okay, I had to sort of laugh to myself when I first saw her, because I thought to myself, what, is she growing a beard and a moustache? That sort of went through my mind, but then I found out that, she had a really nasty fall, bruised up. And so I said to myself, well, this can't happen to her, she's got to heal. And the next 2 days afterwards, when I saw her again, guess what? Completely gone. Just one little spot. Now, bruising like that, especially on an elderly person that is 84, 85 years of age, just doesn't disappear like that very quickly. Okay, and her fingers and her arms and all these bruises that she had when she fell, okay, they're nearly all disappeared. And that's, to me, that is very, very quick recovery from those things. Okay. Also,
what was the practical thing that you did? Was it hands-on healing?
No. Just thought.
Visualized it?
Visualize it and thought. Okay. With my same sister. Okay. Years ago, when I was working up at the mines, before I went away, she rang me and she said, Metod. She calls me Metod, by the way. She doesn't like the word Mike, because you've got to use your real name, Metod. Okay. I said, Metod. She said, I went to the doctor and he told me I've got really big kidney stones. So painful. They're so big. He doesn't know what to do. Can you help me? I said, fine. Now, not knowing everything about the human anatomy, before I flew out, I went to the library, took out the anatomy book and all that there, where they're located and so on, which side and so on. Had a look at that, memorised that there, got on the plane, went to there, laid down, went into a meditation mode, visualised my sister and her kidney and her stones in the kidney, okay, and with my mind, okay, there was like a pointer, like a pencil pointer used, like going, and I pointed this stream of velvet, light into her there. And do you know what? It pulverized the kidney stones. I could see it doing that, pulverized the kidney stones, and I could hear my sister say, oh. And I said, okay, it's done. Thank you. I rang her up straight away, and I said to her, did you feel anything? She says, yes. He says, but the pain's not there anymore. I said, the kidney stones are dissolved. You'll be okay. Just drink plenty of fluids and all that, so everything through your system can be flushed out and you won't have any more problem with it. She said, okay. And that was that.
Question. This is a request on behalf of Emma.
Mm-hmm.
She's on crutches.
Yes.
Will you help her?
I already did.
Oh, okay.
When she first came in, I already did. Okay, the other thing that you can do, which is very important to all of you, okay, Our fingers are very sensitive. There's always energy coming from them. So when I do this, what do you feel? Tickly? Okay, fine. Demonstrate that there is energy coming from the fingers, okay? What I need you to do, okay, visualize that you are being healed, but also very gently rub the area where there's there so you can feel this tingly situation, okay? Okay, just feel that tingly situation, and in your mind, okay, you say, it's healing, thank you. It's healing, thank you, it's healing. You keep on doing that whenever you can, okay, and it'll heal twice as fast, okay? All right? The other thing I need to say to you there, I went and took Renata for a walk one day, a few years back, not that long ago, and she's clumsy, but she stumbled and twisted her ankle. Now, you're in the middle of nowhere. You haven't got any ice packs. You don't have any water with you or anything like that. What do? I'll tell you what you do, and it works 100%. Sit down quickly. Take your shoes and socks off. Grab hold of your ankle, wherever it is, like this. Now you can guess what I'm doing. Okay, what's happening here? Tell me. Yep, there we go. Okay, energy flow going where the bruising is. Now, your human body has trillions and trillions of cells, okay, and they also have these lymphatic little pumps all over the place. Every pore has a little lymphatic pump. That's where all your sweat comes out of your system and all that, your toxins, okay? But these are only one-way pumps, okay? And when you break something, okay, the flood flow, okay, goes and stops all these pumps because they're overwhelmed with all that, so they just grind to a halt. Now, the only thing that you can do is to sort of limp away, go to the doctors, ice packs and everything like that, and, you know, not necessary. What you do is you grab hold of that area there and you hold it. Just neatly hold it. Take your socks off now and neatly hold it. And wait until the pain goes away, which should be about half an hour at the most. It's really painful, but bear with it. Just hold it like that and just tell that ankle to get better. Okay? Until the pain goes away. When the pain goes away, okay, you can have full movement there. It's still a little bit sore because you've actually stretched the tendons and all that there in your ankle, okay? But the bruising will go away very quickly because you have kept those little lymphatic pumps, one-way pumps, working to distribute the liquid, the blood that is clogging them up. So you kept them working simply because they're actually distributing all this fluid away from that injured area. Okay, and once that pain goes away, just release it, put on your socks and shoes, and you're on your way. Of course, when you get home, you don't think that that's 100% cure straight away. Just make sure that you put some ice packs on there and all that, so the inflammation won't set in and all that there. But this is a very, very quick way of you to get mobile again, and that's very, very simple to do. And I've done it many times on myself and others. Okay, it's a very, very quick fix.
So, to tie it in, if you sat outside in the sun and you had all the squirrely things that you're talking about,
microzymas.
Yeah, with the intention you actually bring it in.
Yes.
You can actually increase more flow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You heal. Yeah. No. You pull those in because you're actually getting the energy from the universe. Yeah. Okay. Let it come in. Okay. But it still has to do with intention and thought. Okay. And the more you practice this, the stronger it gets. Okay. I guess in one way I would say when I asked all those powers to be taken away from me when I was only about, 25 years of age or so, okay, I did the wrong thing, maybe, but the thing is this, that what would have happened if these powers didn't disappear, okay? I don't know, but it's neither here or there now, okay? I know that I'm going home soon, and I've done my, I've done my circuit on this planet, and that's it, and that's why I want to help. That's why I want to help others and give this information out. And the information, not only, the information that you hear maybe from somebody else might be a little bit different, but not so much different, because they might have different experiences, okay? The other thing too, okay, which is something, wasn't that long ago, about 12, I've got very light skin, so I'm not really, able to go out there and, get a nice bronze suntan, which I did when I was younger, and that ruined my skin because I have a lot of carcinomas and things on my body, so I cover up now. The thing is this, that yes, I get rid of all these. I get rid of these skin cancers by myself through the help of the universal energies, okay, and it keeps on working. So it's in there. But there is one thing that I did not anticipate, and it was around about here, just about there. I saw this, and this was melanoma, real melanoma, and it was really getting aggressive. And I thought to myself, wow, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to, be cut open and have scars all over the place. Like I said, I don't go to the doctors. I go to the doctors to make them feel better and to, to give them love. So I looked at that, and for quite a few days, for about a week or so, they sort of kept on changing. It was getting bigger and bigger, and I thought to myself, wow, this is no good. This is something really drastic. So I went into meditative mode, and I said, I need help with this, please. During the night, okay, I felt an itchy thing that I sort of rubbed it. But I also felt something else. I felt like as if there was somebody was sticking these little pins into this area. And it was like a little pinprick, if you like, but also sort of itchy. And I thought, what's this, I woke up in the morning, and it was still itchy. And I looked at this. I could not believe it. There was completely, and the size was at least a 10-cent piece, bigger than that. It's rounded. And right around all this, okay, where very close together, these little, like, needle pinpricks in a nice, neat circle, right around that. And I thought to myself, wow, that's strange. Who could have done that? And I thought to myself, no, that's not right. That's, something there. But anyway, that's fine. 2 days later, guess what? Gone. Completely gone. The only thing that I noticed still, if I looked really close, was just where the little pinpricks were. The whole lot was gone. So it was like a melanoma surgery from the universe doing that, and it just healed up, and it's never returned, And I always say, when I sort of get something on, I look at it and I sort of rub it, like I told you how to, okay, and it just disappears. And so in a way, I'm not afraid to go out in the sun, but I thought to myself, well, why would I want to now? I've had all these, when I was young, I had all these things done. So I cover up now. Okay. Any other questions?
A lot of people are talking about restructuring of DNA, activation of DNA for the shift and ascension.
Yes. That is happening. Yes, that is happening as well. And you will notice the way that is happening, okay? You will notice sometimes, and I think I mentioned that before, which is part and parcel. There are energies coming through, okay, that our DNA or genetic codes have been changed in a very not passive way, or I don't know the word, but anyway, it's been changed, okay, in such a way that you can feel your body is different, and for some reason or other, you might feel aches and pains in your joints or your shoulders, and you think, oh, what am I coming down for? Is it like rheumatism, or have I done something, slept wrong, or whatever it is? You can feel these pains. It's just like, and not only older people get it, it's younger ones as well that are spiritually awake, okay, it's been changed. Or you might feel nauseated sometimes, okay, and you think, well, where is that coming from? I felt both of those things. I'm feeling ringing in the ears. Yes, you can get that too. Okay, now the idea with this is that you have to raise your vibrations in order to compensate the ringing. In other words, what it's actually doing is that because your vibrations have been raised, ready for the fifth dimensional shift, you need to have that vibration in your body for it to work for you when the time comes. So ringing in the ears, giddiness, okay? You might be sitting in a chair and all of a sudden you come up and then say, "Ooh, I feel giddy." Why? Have I been sitting too long? No. What else is wrong? Have I eaten something or been poisoned or what? No, the giddiness. And I feel that sometimes. You go out and it's like, what? And it disappears again after a few, after half a minute or so. It disappears again. I thought, well, where did all that come from? Some people get migraine headaches, palpitations of the heart. Yes, you think that you're going to come down with a heart attack. Oh, having said that too, interesting. When I was about about 40, okay, when I started working up at the mines. You've heard of angina, haven't you? Okay, a heart condition, angina. I had acute angina, okay? Sometimes I couldn't even breathe, okay, because if I sort of took a deep breath, I said, my heart would just about jump out and I could just about pass out because that's how bad it was, okay? Now, I believe there is no cure for that in the medical field, okay? You have to take medication for it. And I thought to myself, well, this is no good. Here we go. A gentleman came along from China. Beautiful soul. I want to help you, Mike. Oh, really? So what's wrong with me? He says, you've got acute angina. It's really bad for you. I want to help you. I said, okay, I agree with you. What can I do? You're not breathing properly. And stay away from wheat products for 6 weeks. I said, what do you mean I'm not breathing properly? I thought to myself I was quite athletic, running the mile in 4 minutes, 30 seconds without any, training or anything like that, doing all these things, swimming, getting my bronze medallion and things like that, hanging from rafters and things in the building trade, doing all sorts of things, being very athletic. And you're telling me I'm not breathing properly? Yes, he says, you're not breathing properly. I said, oh, really? He said, did you know that 90% of the world's population do not know how to breathe properly? I said, oh, really? I said, so how do you breathe properly? Through your stomach, your diaphragm. I said, oh, really? I said, how do you do that? I said, he says, you breathe through your chest, you only fill up that part. So you breathe through your diaphragm, everything up there, and it just goes through there, goes in, and it makes you feel well, and you're going to get back to well. So, he taught me how to do this, here's the important thing. Regardless of what you hear from anybody else with deep breathing and all that, which, by the way, is actually being taught through all these, people around the place that open up these clinics and, what have you. Get yourself comfortable. Preferably lay down. Put a stopwatch next to you. Okay, so you can count the seconds if you don't know how to. Close your mouth, through your nostrils, starting from the diaphragm. 6 seconds in until you're really full. 6 seconds out. Empty right out until your stomach is nearly touching your backbone. Okay, right out. Hold for 5 seconds. On empty. Hold for 5 seconds. And then start again. 6 in, 6 out, hold for 5. 6 in, 6 out, hold for 5. You've got your watch there with your second counter. Just make sure that you're doing that. Okay, it takes a little bit of practice, but eventually you'll get the hang of it. Okay, and it'll become natural. Now I always breathe through my stomach or through my diaphragm. Okay, it becomes natural. That is for healing. Good for you to do that too. Okay, or anybody else to do that. That is for healing. Healing breaths. Okay, to keep well, like a keeping well breath. You do the same thing, but you only hold for 3, which is much easier after you're empty. Okay, hold for 3, and you practice that. Don't do any more than 10 minutes at a time, 3 times a day. No more than half an hour a day, top. But don't do it in one full half hour. Just do it 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunchtime, 10 minutes in the evening. Also, wherever your ailment is, whatever is not that you want your body to heal, put your hand over it, okay, and just say, with love, okay, I need this to be healed. Help me. With love, I need to be healed. Okay. In other words, you say these affirmations in your mind. Okay, on that, and it'll work. It'll come about. I had to stay off wheat products, which was actually causing my angina. Okay, and for 6 weeks. So no wheat products whatsoever. I found that quite easy because I was eating grass. Okay, vegetarian. But I also like my cakes and other things and all that there, which actually caused the problem in the first place. But there was no cure for angina. Medication, yes, but not a cure. Okay, so and that was cured, and it was gone within 6 weeks. I was right. I was able to, again, run and breathe and exercise and whatever it is that you wanted to do. No pain whatsoever. It's all gone. And this gentleman that came to me, he was the first. He was the first gentleman out of China. So I thought to myself, what a privilege. This guy actually come and visited me personally. I felt right out of China, just so he could come and talk to me and cure me of this, ailment that I had. Well, that was wonderful. He was a beautiful guy. Huge aura about him. Okay. The other thing I want to tell to you, and I think in conclusion with that, just about, is surround yourself with white light. White light of protection. Surround yourself with that. Imagine it, visualize it. Wherever you go, whether you go to the shopping center, whether you meet up with other friends and all that, surround yourself with white light, because you never know what type of people that you're going to get in contact with, because there are energy people out there that actually draw energy from you. These people are not light people, okay? These are the dark energies. And you never know when you go. So surround yourself with white light, morning and night. Wherever you go out there, it's a thing. Just surround yourself with white light. It's like encase yourself with this beautiful white light. Not only that, did you know that wherever I need, when we go out, we don't have what you call alarm systems on our house. or I could quite easily go out, leave all the doors open and windows open, because what I do is I put a white light around the building. And when I do that, the building actually disappears. There's nothing on there. There's just like an empty block, and all I could see is just covered with white light, like a white, pure white cloud. And nothing ever happens. So people spend thousands and thousands of dollars, getting fortified with all these screens and everything like that. And all I do is put white light over my house, and that's it. Of course, we have screen doors and other things like that, because Renata wants this to happen because she doesn't believe in white light. But she keeps telling me, she said, "Did you put the white light over the house?"
There is hope.
Yeah. Did you put the white light over Glenn's house? Okay. It's interesting, isn't it? Oh, don't tell me all that rubbish and all that. Here you go again, But did you put the white light over the house? I says, yes, it's done. Nothing is going to happen. He said, oh, I really don't like, and Sian would know that. He said, oh, I really don't like Alan Brooke, Never ever use the word hate. That should be taken out of the vocabulary. Do not use the word hate. Okay? Interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. To increase our vibration, physical, practical things, obviously the white light will increase the vibration as well.
Yes.
Is there a particular tone that we can use?
Yes, you can look. You can have some. Yes, you can have music. Some nice, in there. Don't have. What do you call those big heavy rock metal bands? They destroy the plants and everything around it. Have classical music and nice music. You can buy in the shops with nothing too loud, just soft, because you don't want that to interfere, with that. Okay,
so
nothing too loud.
So
not loud. No.
Right.
Okay. You'll know yourself whether it's irritating you or whether it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
It's a good song, you turn it
Yes, right.
Okay.
Yes. I sometimes listen to classical things and things like that, and Renata comes in, she says, "What? You're listening to that? That's 60, 100 years old. How can you listen to that?" I said, "No," I said, "I'm feeling here," and I said, "I feel the energies coming there. I feel so at peace. It's beautiful." She says, "You're nuts." I love this girl of mine really dearly. I've been with her for 30 years, close on 30 years, right? I think maybe this year. And I know her better than she knows herself, which you can understand. And I've done so many things for her and all that there, and she acknowledges them, but she still thinks that it's, not her cup of tea. Any other questions?
You said when you were outside that you're going to show us how to see.
Oh, okay, right, okay, here we go. Ceiling, okay, put your hands up. Okay, just put your hands up. Yeah, get so it's a ceiling, okay? Right, okay, just relax, okay? Just go and sort of energize your fingers a little bit first, okay? Now, just hold them there for a little bit. Already by now, you should start to see your electromagnetic aura, your aura, okay, between the fingers and everything. Okay? Just visualize it, look at it, visualize it. Wow, this is going to be good. Okay, now slowly pull your fingers apart. Can you see Can you see the stream of white light that's going there? Keep on going. Wow, it's still there. Here it is. It's still there. I can still see it. Whoops, it's disappeared. Okay, wow, big stream. Now, you might not see it straight away, but you do that, okay? You just energize it a little bit, okay? And you look at it there. First of all, the good idea is to just look at it. Now, the interesting thing here is, okay, I might mention, okay, when you pull away, okay, now, you want to go back in again, you can actually feel the aura touching one another. Sensitive. You can actually feel the auras touching one another. It's like bumping into one another as you sort of go there. Just practice that. If you can't feel it now, you will. Okay? With practice, you're going to see that. Okay? You pull that apart and you say, wow, now I'm going to sort of go back, and you can actually feel it bumping into one another. Okay? Very simple. Now, if you do this every morning, before you get out of bed, okay, your ceiling is white, and you just put your hands up in there, and then just do that. And then you can concentrate on other parts as well, okay? You can just put your hand up and say, wow, look at that, beautiful. Lovely, look at that, okay? It looks as if my hand is encased with the white, like I got a glove on or something. Look at that. Okay? Look at that. Okay? And the more you practice, the more, and you visualize this, the more you practice, it's going to become natural to you. You won't even have to do this, and look at it. And then you'll go from that, seeing auras on people, seeing auras on plants, seeing auras on chairs and benches and picture frames and books and anything that is inanimate. Okay? It's all energy.
I'll just add to that,
Yes.
because something that's quite, you do it subconsciously because you appreciate it and you go, wow, look at that, and that's, I think, an important thing because you're connecting with it, and
Yes.
that's increasing the flow.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And you do it sort of naturally.
Yeah, you say it like it's there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's there.
You're looking for it, so you see it more, and then you appreciate
Exactly.
it.
Yes, you do, and the more you appreciate it, and the more you visualize and all that, the bigger it gets.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a wow. Look at that. I don't have to look for it because I already, I can see auras around you people, and don't tell me what don't tell me what they're like, and I can sort of decipher them for you and all that there. But you have auras around you, and that's good. And you can do the same. You can look at one another. You can look at your pets. You can look at your partners. You can look at your children. You can look at your friends. And you can see all that. You can look at the plants. Everything. Everything has energy. It's all. Okay.
Can we go into the fifth dimension? Is that another world?
Yes, it's another. Yeah.
It's another world.
Yes, it's another dimensional world. It's another plane. Yes.
So
but it can be physical.
Okay.
Yes.
And are we taken there?
Hmm?
Do we get taken there?
Yes. Yes. You automatically get taken there. You want to go there, that's where you get taken. Yes.
By a spaceship or?
Normally, yes.
Sorry.
So this means our physical body will go.
Your physical body, when the shift comes, your physical body will go with you to the fifth dimension, but then eventually that physical body will not be the physical body as you know in the 3D dimension, okay? It will become lighter, okay? It'll become Exactly. Okay. It's going to become lighter and it's going to become healthier and all that there, because your energies and all that will actually change. You will not need to have 3 meals a day, for example, if you don't want to, because you won't feel hungry. Okay, that way, and other things. I mean, there's so much to look forward to. It's truly going to be a paradise, like it was mentioned in the in the prophecies and all that there. And yes, a lot of the animals are going to come with us, because it's not going to change. It's still going to be an Earth planet, so to speak, but it's going to be a paradise one. Okay, and there are hundreds, millions of planets out there that are the same as Earth planets. There's not only this one. Unfortunately, we're stuck on this one at this particular time.
Do we take the same soul with us?
Of course. Your soul never changes. No. Come on. Your soul is yes, but your soul is everlasting. That's it.
So what's the difference between this fifth dimension and eternity?
Sorry?
And eternity.
Well, we work towards eternity. Okay?
So
Yeah, we never die. Our real life is lived in the spirit. Okay? There's a gift from the Creator from the beginning.
That's right. So what my question is, we go to fifth dimension and we're very, very different. Our lifestyle, we don't need the things we need on this earth.
Yes.
Or we think we need, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we go there and it's a wonderful place.
Yes.
So what's the difference between that and what they say is heaven? I don't know what heaven's like, but what's the difference between the fifth dimension and heaven?
I think heaven is like a misconception of the people actually using the 3D dimension here. I say, oh, when you die and if you're good, you're going to go to heaven. Well, come on, you come from heaven.
That's true.
Okay, so, and because you've come down here to work on your karmic area of your life cycle, okay, then through various means and religious organizations and doctrines and all that, you are actually programmed to think that if you're good, you're going to go to heaven. If you're bad, you're going to go to hell. There is no such thing as hell. Hell is not a place.
No, hell is not a place, no, but with heaven, like they say, God, true source or whatever, is in some place, some that I don't understand. So what's the difference between fifth dimension and going with God or true source?
Fifth dimension is only a very small step towards being
So there's still more.
with, so many layers. I don't even want to go there, because we will never ever know everything about the Creator, okay? Because we are just a little spark from the Creator. We are His children, and there's so universes and dimensions and galaxies and planets, and it's impossible for us to ever learn anything about that. But the idea is, okay, that eventually in our travels, in our rebirths, in our travels, eventually we're going to be part with the Creator again, because we come from there. So we actually, in a way, we are like God. Okay? But only a tiny little bit of it. Okay? When Jesus came, for example, okay, and by the way, He is not the only begotten Son of God like the churches teach. Okay? He is a star child that came in with the purpose of teaching spiritual things to the masses at that time. And of course, things went horribly wrong only about 150 years afterwards. Okay? And all these institutions and things sort of came up there, and everything was because man wanted to rule, and be, okay. The churches the churches became very powerful, had the populations submissive to them and so on there. So they taught them a lot of untruth and everything like that and so on. But not only Jesus, there are other spiritual people that came over the ages, over the millennia of years to teach and advance the populations of this planet. And it happened before, where they actually, when the shifts came, these populations, some of them that were shifted to other planets and other galaxies and so on. Sorry? Yes, they did that too, okay? And a lot of other ones, a lot of American Indians and a lot of other ones. The only sad thing about this is that once the shift occurs and those that are going to stay behind, okay, are going to find it very difficult and very hard for a time period, because everything regresses back to, let's start again, so to speak, you know. Wash the dishes, get all the grime out there, let's start again. But it's a long process again.
Would the third dimension and the fifth dimension now from each other?
Sorry? With the... Say it again?
The third dimension world and the fifth dimension world, would they now of each other?
Yes, of course.
Especially here in the third dimension.
Yes.
You wouldn't see the fifth, or would you?
Not yet. Okay, that hasn't been shown to you. It's been shown to me many times, but maybe for you it hasn't been. And this is the whole idea. We are going to move into the fifth dimension. And the things that are in front of us right now, okay, are working towards this shift. And when this shift comes at the very end, okay, the fifth dimension is going to be exposed to you, okay? So you're going to be able to see, for example, the ships and all the ones that are going to help to come and lift you off and put you into that fifth dimension.
And afterwards, this is what I meant, afterwards, when the fifth is there and people will be there, would I know about the third?
Oh, yes.
Or would I forget?
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Would I know the fifth is there?
They will know what happened. Yes. Yes, they will know.
Would there be a time that those from the third dimension are able to lift their energies because they want to get to the fifth dimension, knowing that it's there?
After a while, yes, they're going to have another chance to go and do that. Things never change. It's like, you know, they keep on going. But they will have to start again until they can reach their level of spirituality, okay, and vibrations, okay, to be able to do that again. But that's very, very far in the future, okay? What we're concerned about now is sending out love, sending out these beautiful, loving energies, forgiveness, okay, just so we can eliminate a lot of the stresses and things that are actually going to befall this planet. And it's already started. It's started. People are hurting, okay? And here, what we have to do is help them so they won't hurt so much. Say, look, yes, there's a bright future ahead for us. There's a bright future ahead for you. And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, you know, would you like me to tell you about it? Is that what you do? Okay. I said, well, then you can start slowly. Don't throw them off the deep end so they're going to run a mile, because they're there. But if they're receptive to that, through your kindness and your, you know, and your best wishes and your love, it's planting a seed. And I think, that's interesting. I'd like to be around that person. Or they might go away, and when things start to change and things again, they're actually going to think, hey, that person that I met there, they said something about this. And that's the trigger that will actually go and help them to lift those vibrations that are needed.
So on that note, can we do it subconsciously? Because sometimes you're talking to people and they'll just close off. Mm-hmm. Can we project that white light?
Yes.
Yeah,
well, you do that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Self, so
you don't even have to talk to them.
Yeah,
you just don't have to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, I go to the shopping centres now and all that while Renata does her shopping, and I just sit there, and what I do is I just project out love and forgiveness. And you know one interesting thing? All the babies that pass me by in the strollers and thing, they all turn their heads and they look at me and they smile. Do you know what they see? Do you know? Yeah. So, babies know because they're blameless, they're infants. They're so intelligent. Think about it. Some of them can learn 3 or 4 languages before they even learn how to read and write. Very, very intelligent. And it's only the veil goes down after they reach a certain age. But they all look back. And Renata's with me sometimes, says, look at that, they're all looking at you. I says, yeah, they can see things, that you can't see. Okay. And the parents, they go past there and they sort of look back and say, why is my baby looking at that man? I thought it was all okay. Yeah.
So if we want to see if our children are spiritually switched on, we could do the exercise and take them outside and looking at the sky.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
saying, do you see
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah. And then teach them how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. But you teach them, you have to do it with love.
Yeah.
Because if you do it with, while you're grumpy or you're not feeling well, thing like that, you're not going to see anything. Do it with love. Love and affection, and you can see it. And then slowly teach them that. And then they'll learn. He said, oh yeah, look, Mummy, I can see it. Wow. I said, well, you keep practicing, because the more you practice, the bigger it's going to get. And eventually you're just going to look at that and you're going to see it straight away without even concentrating on it. Okay? And that's a little trigger, you see. It's going to say, wow, that's interesting. Okay.
With your breathing technique, that'd be a good way to get them out of the head into the body. Do that breathing exercise that you were saying, and then get them to look at it, because then they're out of their head into their body.
They are teaching that at schools now.
Yeah.
They are teaching mindfulness in schools now, which is meditation. Think about it. They are going through corporate companies and all that, teaching their personnel how to meditate and eat more vegetable, items and so on. And it's working. A lot of the times it's working. It's working to such an extent that their productivity goes up, their companionship and working place is more harmonious and all that there. It's working. It's working. It just needs to be, in a nice way. I'm sorry. It's time now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Metod.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't. All my love to all of you. I appreciate that there. I don't know when I'm going to be able to come back again. Maybe never. I don't know. Yes, maybe never. But if there is anything, if there's anything that comes up new that you need to know, I will let Sian know anyway, and then you can sort of, get in touch with her and I can talk to you. And please, if there is any other question and all that there, just direct them to Sian, and Sian can get in touch with me and all that there. I'm terrible in remembering names, so forgive me for that. Faces, not so much. I can remember faces, most of them anyway. Okay, and yes, it's an exciting time to be living in. Okay, very, very much so. There's a lot of trying periods ahead, but don't get involved with that. Prioritize what you're doing and where you're at, because big houses, big superannuations, big cars, and all these things, they don't matter anymore. They're all going to be left behind. Yep. So it's more get yourself spiritually awakened so you can help others, and that's the only way. That's the only way forward. And we're so blessed, because we're so close. We are so close now, and I can't say exactly when. Could be tomorrow for all I know. No, I shouldn't say that. There will be a little bit of warning. Most probably about 6 or 7 weeks warning before the
When you
claim.
say warnings, what would be the warning sign?
Well, there'll be a lot of things coming through, energies coming through and also there's going to be a lot of appearances of, extraterrestrials and so on. Okay, that's another thing. The other warning signs are going to be other, heavenly bodies coming through into our neck of the woods there. So that's going to be a little bit frightening, like asteroids and things like that. Don't be afraid. Fear is something that we don't need. Okay, fear is what is holding us back. Okay, all right. Remember, you live forever. Your true life is lived in the spirit. This is just a spacesuit, so to speak, because we need it. Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you. I've got to go.